Alright, welcome back to CS195 Web Development. This is week 2, HTML basic tags. Today's lesson, well, at least one of the lessons, is text emphasis. So if we look back at what we did, we looked about the basics of the tags, the HTML tag, how it wraps around everything, and the head tag, which goes above the body tag, which again, wrapped around means those are inside of it. We talked about the indentation. And we showed, kind of how stuff goes inside the body. So today's lesson, we're going to show a few more tags on what that is. With that, again, our standard kind of thing is we're going to watch a video from Khan Academy, kind of explain along how this works, and then go ahead and try it out together. So we'll start with the video and do that. Our objective is to understand how to add the BR tag, the strong tag, and the EM tags. And we'll go over what those are in the lessons. At the lesson, you'll have your Khan challenge to demonstrate your mastery. Our success criteria is that you will demonstrate adding the BR, strong, and M tags in the correct location, which is the body tag, in the HTML code. So with that, we'll watch the video, and then we'll try it out together.
Welcome back. Are you feeling a little more comfortable with HTML tags now that you've typed some yourself? We have a bunch more tags to cover, so you'll be tagging all over the place soon. Now, do you remember this paragraph about rabbits? I'm a bit worried that the aliens might read it in a monotone voice, and they won't pay attention to the really important words and phrases in it. So I want to mark up the parts that they should emphasize. We can start by using the M tag, which stands for emphasis. We use it whenever we want to indicate where we'd emphasize a word while speaking. Like if I want the aliens to say the most orange vegetables in our world, then I can wrap the R in an M tag.
Alright, so we're going to pause here. The EM tag, which you refer to as emphasis, what does it do? Alright, pause if you need to look at this a little bit. What does the EM tag do? Hopefully you notice that it italicizes. And again, notice that she EM just around the word R. The beauty of how tagging works is if I want our world, I just have EM go around our world. So remember, the beginning tag and then the closing tag. And this is how HTML works. You have your opening tag, you have your closing tag, anything in between, it's inside of that tag. So this is our world. The EM tag is for italicize.
Browser will see the M and then italicize the text inside of it to show the emphasis. Now the aliens will really realize that I'm talking about our world, not theirs, because I don't know anything about their world and what their vegetables look like. What if the aliens are just skimming the text? What if they don't even read the entire amazing paragraph that I wrote? In that case, I want to make sure a few key phrases stand out, and I can use the strong tag for that. Probably the most important fact is how much rabbits reproduce, because I wouldn't want aliens taking rabbits home with them and then be mad at us when the rabbits eventually overpopulate them and take over their government. So I will wrap this fact in a strong tag.
Alright, so what does the strong tag do? Alright, look around, talk to yourself. What does it do? It's bold, right? It bolds it. Strong does bold. Now, I want to show you there are other tags. The I tag, you notice it still is this. The B tag also accomplishes the same thing. So again, if I change this to an I, you'll probably actually see it change. If I change this one to a B, and I change this one to a B, you'll see that now I'm changing the stuff. Oh, I got rid of the slash. Alright, so again, those are ways to actually change it. Whatever you wrap it around, whatever it's wrapped around, that is what takes its shape, whether it be italicized or bold. And you can do one letter. I mean, this is how HTML works, why it has it. So if I want just the T to be italicized, I wrap just the T. And this will be important later as we start learning some other tags and start learning color. Maybe I just want this color to be, I want this to be a different font. I want it to be a different size than everything. you can just select just one individual character to make your changes to. So back to the video.
All right, the browser will see the strong and then bold the text inside of it to make sure that it stands out. We can even combine M and strong and put them inside each other. Like if I want the aliens to say more than any human ever has, I can wrap the ever in an M.
Alright, so now notice this one is bold and italics, but also notice that the EM tag is completely inside the strong. You don't overlap them. Alright? So notice how I didn't get the correct results right here, because in theory, right, this should have been italicized because ever has is in it, but you kind of really confuse it because it sees a start and then it sees an end of a strong tag and it's like, wait, you can't end a tag before you end my tag. So that is probably a very common mistake I see a lot of students do, is just make sure that you are inside of whatever you're doing, right? And this is a lot of the times why we do this, why we have our indentation. It gets a little bit more confusing when you start having these tags that are so close like this, but this is why we have indentation, so you make sure that it opens and closes correctly.
Okay, now I'm happy. I think they'll really pay attention.
Alright, so that's the end of the video. Let's go ahead and try that out. Again, our success criteria is the BR, strong, and the M tag, so let's go down to the body. We need to indent because it's not indented, so hit tab, tab. I'm going to go ahead and full screen this and make the font a little bit larger for you. Alright, so I should be able to see a little bit better. And let's go ahead, this is going to be a little bit of review, so let's add our heading tag. What do you do for the heading tag? Again, what tag? And it's not heading, heads for something else. The H1 tag is your heading tag. H1 is the biggest heading. There should be 6 of them. So my heading, and again it shows up. We're going to add a paragraph tag under that. What do we use for the paragraph tag? Think about it, type it, whatever you need to do, write it down, tell it to someone, say it out loud. The P tag, right? The P tag. So we got the P tag. Let's go my first sentence. And then we're going to show some stuff as well. So I hit enter there. I'm going to hit enter here again because this is going to make it easier for us to follow along. Because I want to do enter my second, spell it correctly, sentence. And again, this is that reminder about how it works. A lot of that white space is ignored. I mean, technically, this is all white space. This is all white space. I mean, there's a lot of white space. It ignores everything but the space, right? And again, if I could ask a bunch of spaces, it doesn't do anything. So the white space is ignored. So what is that tag we use to break these two apart? All right, it's the break tag, which is BR. Hopefully you said BR, and now you can see what that does. So I'm going to go ahead and add another BR because we're going to add a third sentence. And then we're going to go ahead and start doing the other two, right? So we did the BR. So we practiced a BR. You should be able to do this by yourself now. If you need to add a break, you add the BR tag. But let's do our italicize. What do we do to italicize? All right. Hopefully you said the EM tag, so EM. Now remember, it automatically closes for us, so if we want it to wrap around sentence, we have two options. We can take sentence, we can drag it inside. We could have took EM and dragged it over where it needs to go. You can also cut and paste. So we'll show that with the next one. So you can see we have our italicize. Let's go ahead and do our bold. What do we do for bold? What tag gives the bold appearance? Alright, some of you might have said the B tag, but for now the thing's practicing the strong tag. The B tag is correct, but it wants you to learn the strong tag. And again, if I hit this and I hit Control X, it cuts it, so it's still it's like copied essentially, deletes it, essentially deletes and copies it. Control V, paste it back, and now you also saw what happens if it doesn't have an ending. The whole thing becomes bold after it. And now we have italics and thing. Now I'm going to let you on the last one, in any order that you want, make the last sentence, at least the last word in the last sentence, make it bold and strong. So go ahead, pause the video right now, make it bold and strong. Alright, welcome back. Hopefully you actually listened to me and paused it, but you should see EM. And then I'm just going to go ahead and type in the strong tag. And now notice again, EM is wrapped around the strong, so if I take sentence, Control X, Control V, and paste it, it's now bold and italicized. And that's what you need to do, whatever you want. If you just want a letter, you don't have to do this, but if you just want a letter, you just cover letter. If you want the whole sentence, then you surround the whole sentence. Now we'll go into CSS later and explain what CSS is, but this is the main way, or this is a way. There actually is a better way. So we're going to get a full screen, because that's the end of this lesson. You have a challenge and a journal entry to do later, but we're going to move on to the next lesson. So with that, we'll see you in the next lesson, HTML lists.